Hello and welcome back to the Darth Magog channel. I'm your host, the friendly neighborhood Dark Lord of the Apostates, Darth Magog. And as you know, Jehovah's Witnesses and Watchtower are very proud of their JW Broadcasting productions. This includes the Become Jehovah's Friends series, better known as the Caleb and Sophia videos. These child-targeted videos are highly produced, but don't credit any childcare experts when it comes down to the content presented. Luckily, we happen to have our own in-house expert to find the shadows in the new light. Clone Commander Fives, who happens to be a professional in early childhood education. Commander, please report your credentials.
Well, sir, I have over a decade of experience in early childhood education, and I happen to hold a master's in the field.
What's your master's in?
Specifically, it's early childhood education with a specialization in trauma.
Oh, that's perfect for this series. The target audience of the original videos is early childhood, and there will indeed be trauma. Case in point, I'm sitting here in full armor. But without further ado, let us begin. We would be honored if you would join us. Okay, I'm pulling the first of the videos that I want to show you today. There are 3 I had in mind, all of varying production value. They tend to improve in animation and rendering time as time goes on, so they're pretty high quality as of late. It's really the content that's the struggle. We'll start with the first episode here. This was made about 10 years ago, I believe. It's titled Obey Your Parents. And before you ask, I don't have subtitles for this.
I wasn't going to ask.
You were going to ask?
It wasn't even on my mind.
I sensed it.
It might have been in a couple of minutes, but not now. No.
I sensed it, Commander.
Your senses have betrayed you, Lord Magog.
Here's Lesson 1. Obey your parents.
Looks okay so far. Little fantasy, got the sun shining, aeroplane flying, thunderhead. It's very nice.
I didn't know you were an aviation expert too.
No, just a mild enthusiast.
Then why isn't my tie ever working?
Your tie?
Yes, my twin ion engine fighters.
Take it to maintenance, sir. Okay, there's a child piloting the plane, as expected. We have danger. Well, I was promised trauma. Right, so we're falling, but the music isn't such that a death is imminent. Ah, yes, it's a toy. And we've got a traditionally gendered housework here.
The mother character.
Yeah, mate, that's my point.
Caleb! Time for dinner. I just cleaned the house, so remember, take your shoes off.
Okay, Mom.
Caleb!
Alright, judging by his reaction, he knows shame is coming.
Did Mommy tell you to take off your shoes?
Yes.
Mom worked very hard to clean the house today. How will she feel when she sees this?
Okay, so we're making the child responsible for the mother's emotions.
I'm sorry, Daddy.
I know. Let's clean this up together.
You know, parts of this are fine. He should clean it up. It's important for
So
development
that was
to
a
know
lot of
one's
work,
actions.
right?
But... And we can talk about Mum's feelings, but not make
if you
them
had
be
listened
the
to
focal
Mommy,
point of
you wouldn't have
why.
had to do all that work. My son, when we tell you to do something, it's because we love you. We want the best for you. Remember what we learned in family worship? It is here in Ephesians. What chapter is that?
6?
Right, very good. This is what Jehovah wants you to do. Children, that's you, Caleb. Be obedient to your parents, that it may go well with you. That's why you should always listen to Mom and Daddy.
Okay, so we're only teaching strict obedience, not the benefits of having a clean floor. and why it's important to be
let's go
mindful
get
of the
some food.
work of others.
Two complex fives, only one moral at a time.
Release the marbles.
What a mess! Caleb, it is time for family worship. Get your book. And pick up all these marbles. Someone could get hurt.
No room for him where he's naturally at, developmentally speaking, of course. It's completely developmentally appropriate to occasionally make a mess through play. But it's only going to be about the adult's feelings and reactions, thereby conveying that only adults matter.
Always listen to mom and daddy.
That is very unlikely to happen. Slip and fall, okay. But this whole mess? Yeah, that's definitely manipulation.
My favorite part is that the dad is fine, but the TV is the big casualty. See, watch this bit.
I'm definitely watching. Yeah.
Actually exploded.
So again, we're learning through it being motivated by fear, not, learning to take a role in keeping up the home, keeping up an environment.
Thank you. I'm so proud of you for obeying.
Yeah, so this
Now,
shit is
let's hurry up. Your
sneaky,
sister and dad
because
are
it's
waiting for
not
us.
bad to teach a child to be clean and be responsible, but
Oh,
the way
good.
they're
Now
going about it
everybody's
is
here.
not cool. It's icky, quietly
Let's say
icky.
a prayer to begin family worship.
Let me explain from a cultural perspective. So yes, culturally, obedience to parents is a core tenet of the religion. So obviously the cleaning, that's one that they'll discuss in another episode, but culturally speaking, it's a huge thing. A core part of the doctrine is that disobedience to parents is a sign that the world is literally ending. The final part of the last days. Undoubtedly,
And
the
obedience
final
to
part of
parents
the
is-
final part of the last days. Wait, I didn't finish the shtick. My shtick wasn't done, Commander.
Oh, okay, go ahead, Lord Magog.
The final part of the final part, shortly before the last day of the last days. So obedience is what separates a Jehovah's Witness child from a worldly child, in that a worldly child is reason, or a sign that the world is going to end, functionally. And if you're a disobedient child, you're just proving that you'll be destroyed in Armageddon. Whereas this obedience demonstrates that we're separate from the world and superior to it. There's a whole article, the June 15th, 1983 Watchtower, on page 5, I believe. It goes over this in excruciating detail. They also like to use the scripture Proverbs chapter 30, verse 11 to support their stance, where they discuss lawlessness, but they also lump it in together with being puffed up with pride, adultery, abuses, violence, so on and so forth. So that's the level of hatred that the culture has for a kid who doesn't blindly obey his or her parents. But that's the JW perspective on it. What's wrong with this from a childcare, child development perspective?
Where do I begin?
From the top, please, Commander.
Alright, I'm gonna try and make this succinct, Lord Magog.
Very good, Commander.
So, what's wrong with it is that, well, first of all, the entire experience of the child is being dismissed and ignored and invalidated. It's all about what the parents expect, what the parents want, how the parents feel, and they are subtly making the parents' emotions the responsibility of the child.
How so?
Well, the bit towards the beginning where the dad asks the little boy how the mother's gonna feel now that he's tracking muddy prints through a shiny new clean floor, and he envisions her having this complete breakdown into a puddle of tears, and now it's up to him to prevent that. Like, Mum's allowed to be upset, she just mopped the bleeding floor, she did. He does at some point need to learn to be mindful of his surroundings and the impact he's having on the home, but the mum's responsible for her own bloody emotions in that situation. And she's responsible for how she manages them or doesn't manage them. Yes, have him clean up the prints, but not because... Yeah, it's sneaky because they're taking a lesson with which there's nothing inherently wrong. There's nothing wrong with having a child clean up the mess. There is something wrong with making it be powered by shame, rather than simply, this is our home, we work together to keep it nice.
Well, that was only one aspect. What else is wrong with this thing?
I mean, the pattern continues. I think it gets sneakier with the marbles. Because yes, theoretically, someone could slip and get badly walloped by falling on the marble. And that's a problem. But this child is clearly learning worst case scenarios that will happen if he doesn't please the parents. It seems less about the safety of everyone around his marbles than it is, again, about what the parents want and what the parents expect. Just because they want and expect it, and that's what he's been told.
And that is consistent with the culture of Jehovah's Witnesses. The question is never, if I do this, it's not necessarily that it's going to harm me. It's, what are the elders going to do to me? Are they going to disfellowship me? Am I going to lose my privileges? Because there's always a consequence, usually negative. Any sort of action you take, depending on what and who you know, you're always thinking worst case scenario. You're thinking, oh man, if Armageddon comes tomorrow, or right now, I've got this on my ledger, and there's a fireball with my name on it.
And let's pretend for a second, this is unlikely to happen, but let's pretend that the worst case scenario happens, which is probably not what happened to the TV, but let's pretend that the dad slipped on a marble and the child had neglected to clean him up, and in doing so, he fell and snapped his neck. Not likely, but not impossible.
Damn, and then a fireball hits Caleb?
Well, let's pretend the neck thing happened. The move then is not for this child. I mean, it'd be difficult not to, no matter how you're raised, not to feel completely responsible for that and have a lot of trauma and hellish emotional experiences after that. The goal then is not to forever place upon this child, yeah, you killed your dad, mate. Because he didn't. He left his marbles out and a horrible tragedy happened to occur from it. The dad could have had the same thing happen if he'd slipped and fell down the stairs on his own.
I like how Commander Fives went straight for the neck snap there. Like, what happened to you on Geonosis? Was it that bad?
I'm just saying. It's just commentary, Lord Magog.
Very good, Commander.
But that's it in a nutshell. It's frustrating as a parent or a caregiver for children to immediately forget what you've told them, but it's developmental or typical.
Is there a specific reason that happens?
Well, I can't speak to the neuroscience, but what I can say is that developmentally, based on my experience in the field, that they're all involved in their world and their play. They're not at all to a point where the consequences are necessarily linear in their mind or very direct. They're gonna forget. Not always, not every child, but yeah, mate.
It's not uncommon.
Not uncommon.
Okay, considerably shorter video this time. This is called Forgive Freely. This one features the other titular character, Sophia, Caleb's older sister.
Ooh, speaking of snap necks there.
Jesus
Caleb,
vibes,
you
that was
broke my
dark.
toy.
I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
You always say that.
Well, I am sorry.
Well, that won't fix my toy.
What's wrong, children?
He broke my toy. I told him not to touch it.
I said I was sorry.
You always say you're sorry.
Okay, children. So Caleb broke your toy.
But that's not all he did. He ate my ice cream, he went into my room without asking, and he scribbled on my songbook.
Caleb getting more and more ashamed as the grievances pile
Well,
up.
I am sorry.
Sophia, can you think of anything you have done wrong?
Well, I forgot to make up my bed. I lost my homework. And I didn't do the dishes.
Yes, it's not easy to remember our mistakes. But are you sorry?
So far, this is pretty
Do you know what
okay.
Jehovah does when we are truly sorry? He reminds us at Ephesians 4:32. It says, God freely forgave you. Sophia, what does it mean to freely forgive?
It's getting less okay now.
I am sorry, Sophia.
It's okay, Caleb. I forgive you.
For
good.
forgiveness should not be
That makes
mandated,
Jehovah
especially in the
very
eyes of some sky
Anybody
god.
know where the mess came from?
Uh-oh.
So that was another relatively early one, maybe a season 3 episode?
Yeah, that was quite brief. I was expecting more.
Honestly, most of these are pretty short. 1 to 5 minutes, with the special ones being 10 or 15. So, from a Jehovah's Witness perspective, forgiveness is a big thing. It's a tenet of Christianity in general, but they're going to harp on your general imperfection here. You're not a perfect creature, which is indeed true. And they also say that only God can forgive you for the inherent sin that He technically gave you. See, culturally, according to the religion, we're all inherently sinful. We inherited it from our parents, who inherited it from their parents, so on and so forth, back to Adam and Eve, who ate some fruit, and now all of us are imperfect, and we have to actively fight against that. As a result, God forgives us freely until we disagree with what He says. Then He'll just have us disfellowshipped. I've got an article about that. So then, at that point, it just depends on how much repenting you've done. Forgiving freely is required if you're in good standing. Very much like the Jedi, it's not the Jehovah's Witness way to hold a grudge. Until you can when someone is kicked out through disfellowshipping. It's just a tiny bit massively contradictory.
Yeah, so what that tells me is, based on what you said, it depends on who's in power. Like, the more powerful you are in the organization, the more room you're granted to, as you put it, hold a grudge and not forgive if you don't want to. Whereas, if you're in a place of powerlessness, especially as a child, forgiveness is mandatory. And I didn't see a lot wrong with the video except for that, because people aren't entitled to forgiveness. In this case, the stuff that Caleb was doing, at the end of the day, wasn't a huge deal. Meaning, no one's ever going to suffer for a lifetime because, the giraffe broke his neck. It might be in everyone's best interest for Sophia to forgive Caleb, but he's not entitled to forgiveness.
That makes sense. Oh, what do you think of I don't think the father has a name, but what do you think of his character doing the tick marks? And also asking Sophia to remember her mistakes too.
I don't know. Unless the tick marks are to help the child visualize something, I don't love it. Because keeping track of someone's mistakes is a weird type of scorekeeping, and I don't think it needs to be done. But if it helps them understand that they're different things, I saw it happening, but it didn't register as much as some of the other stuff going on did.
And the remembering of mistakes, like from the JW perspective, it read to me like, you have to forgive your brother, you're imperfect too. Which, while literal in this case, is also a common phrase used in kingdom halls, referring to other congregants, aka your spiritual brothers.
I think it depends on if Sophia had owned up to those mistakes in the past. I feel like once something's done and it's stopped, you can't keep hammering a mate with it. Yeah, I don't think it's either or. You could certainly very easily use it in a nefarious way, Some very subtle mind control, but it doesn't have to be that.
Do you have one more in you before you return to your duties, Commander?
I've got one more in me, Lord Magog.
Good. You must obey your apostate master.
No way.
So we have a female-centered episode for our final video. Focal characters are Sophia and Mom, and it's titled, One Man, One Woman.
Look, Mom. I drew our family in school today.
Caleb has no face.
Wow.
I didn't have time to finish Caleb's face. Carrie drew 2 mommies.
Oh, this is not
She
gonna
told me
end
they're
well.
married to each other. My teacher says that all that matters is that people love each other and that they're happy.
Well, people have their own ideas about what is right and wrong. But what matters is how Jehovah feels. He wants us to be happy, and he knows how we can be happiest. That's why he invented marriage the way he did.
You mean 1 man and 1 woman?
Exactly. Look at Genesis 1:27.
Oh, I know I'm
Jehovah
terribly
created
happy
Adam
when
and
some
Eve,
man
male
stiffly
and
hands me a
female.
flower.
Then in Genesis 2:24, he said that a man will stick to his wife.
Literally, I guess.
Later, Jesus said the same thing. Jehovah's standards haven't changed.
Oh, Jesus, it's
It's kind of like going
overwhelmingly
on an
white.
airplane. What would happen if someone wanted to bring something on the plane that wasn't allowed?
They couldn't go on their trip.
Right. It's the same with Jehovah. He wants us to be his friend and live in paradise forever. But we have to follow his standards to get there. At Matthew 7:13 and 14, it talks about the road leading to paradise. To get there, Jehovah says we have to leave some things behind. That means anything Jehovah doesn't approve of.
But I want everyone to get to paradise.
So does Jehovah. And you know what? People can change. That's why we share his message.
Yeah, the whole video's a big
What
oof.
can you say to Carrie?
Well, I could tell her about the paradise.
No one we know about the
Tell her about
whole
the
ex-gay
animals
movement and
the
all
resurrection.
that.
That's awesome. Let's practice.
Yes, it ends on them practicing what to tell Carrie and her mothers about how to get to paradise.
Yeah, is that literally how it ended?
Yes, that's actually how it ended.
So not even just talking to the teacher, which is bad enough, they're gonna talk to this little girl and her mums.
The theory is that Sophia is going to go to her classmate and going to explain that her mothers need to leave their marriage behind. Let me explain this from a Jehovah's Witness perspective.
Oh, I know their stance. I've seen the commission, but far away, Lord Magog. Also, Lord Magog, do I have permission to have a swear on your program?
Permission granted, Commander.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you get blasted.
They are welcome to try. So, the way that... So, obviously, they're not going to... There's a lot of examples on jw.org stating that they don't approve of gay relationships. Now, just to be perfectly transparent, the official stance that Jehovah's Witnesses have, according to jw.org, is that Jehovah's Witnesses don't have any problems with gay people. They have problems with, quote, gay conduct, unquote. Take that for what you will.
Yeah, that's spouting off in a lot of Christian religions.
So, technically, you can be gay, or bi, or trans, or queer, or what have you. You just can't act like that, for whatever that's supposed to mean. And they very much believe that sexuality is a choice. It's something you can deal with. Something you can kinda push down. Something you can change, or at least manage. So they'd either expect you to be celibate, or just get married and figure it out. Figure out a way to enjoy what you're doing with your new hetero spouse here.
Mm-hmm.
And another factor here is talking to children in school. The mother is sending Sophia back to school with the intent to talk to this other little girl, who they probably otherwise wouldn't run into in the door-to-door preaching work. There's a certain expectation placed on children in the witness community to preach to the classmates. It's designated as their own, quote, personal territory. In the normal door-to-door work, a territory is a set of blocks or a neighborhood where Jehovah's Witnesses will go to preach, going from house to house. But because they can't go into schools to preach, but the children also tend to go to public school.
They use children.
The children are encouraged, if not mandated. I'm not... From the Jehovah's Witness perspective, they're encouraged, if not mandated, to preach while they're in the classroom, to reach those that adults otherwise wouldn't reach, whether they fully understand the message or not. That's the general idea behind what's going on here. That's the JW context to the film, anyway.
Yeah. Does that conclude your explanation?
Yes, unless you have any questions.
I have no questions.
Very good, Commander. You may fire when ready.
Fuck that video. Fuck that mum. Fuck the organization. Fuck the Watchtower.
Commander!
Yes, Lord Magog.
Perhaps you can explain what's wrong with this video from a childcare perspective?
I mean, we're going beyond childcare at this point.
Okay, let's start with childcare.
Okay.
Because we know what's really wrong, but what's wrong developmentally speaking?
Well, I can start by taking impressionable minds and molding them to judge, and at the end of the chain... Even though it didn't really happen in the video, at the end of the chain, perpetuating harm against the group of people. So there's that. That's not okay.
Obviously.
Now we're taking explicit direct advantage of the naivete and, for the lack of a better word, powerlessness of children. Then the extra dimension of placing the burden on the child to talk to this other child, who's probably going to be like, "Why are you?"
Challenging the entire worldview.
Yes, the daughter of this couple is likely to have already encountered discrimination against her mums, or seen it happen to her mums. We don't know if the mothers have talked to the daughter about what she might face in the world. So either this could be a, "not again, this is exhausting," or a, "what the hell, why would anybody think badly of me mums?"
Just thinking about...
So
sorry, I'll let you finish.
Okay, so I can really distill it down pretty easily. First, putting homophobic beliefs into a child's mind who doesn't have the capacity to defend themselves against it, or even form their own opinions. No opinion that thinks gay people are wrong is valid, but I digress. And then also, using the child as an instrument of control to spread what you think your God wants. Oh, and also again, which has been unsurprisingly so, the theme of all three of these videos is outsourcing responsibility to Jehovah, who never actually shows his face. Even if you think you can talk to him through a prayer, I'm not sure if the witnesses do that.
There is a video about that. We'll review that one in the future.
So all the responsibility is outsourced to someone who can't be directly confronted.
I think the most fascinating part, personally, is that Sophia is, well, let's say from the classmate Carrie's perspective. And we don't actually know what happens since they don't animate it. But from Carrie's perspective, a character we never got to see nor will ever hear from again.
I figure not. She and her family dynamic are a prop for this video.
Her family dynamic is indeed a prop, but from Carrie's point of view, Sophia will be an antagonist attacking her entire worldview, just showing up out of nowhere after they did this family thing. Like, "By the way, Carrie, your mums are wrong, but you get to play with baby animals in paradise if you and your moms follow Jehovah and give up your family." Because that's a thing that would have to happen. Gay marriages are obviously not recognized in the Kingdom Hall, so that would be a thing there. And also, they have the inverse of not getting into paradise, where if they choose not to, being in paradise is, well, the only option. If you're not in paradise, you don't exist. They don't say this explicitly, but if you aren't in paradise, it's because you were destroyed in Armageddon. There's that.
There's that, which is another.
It gets worse, though.
Oh.
Thinking about this, because she's going to be spouting that rhetoric, the mum has unintentionally opened Sophia up to constant ridicule, because if her other classmates have parents who tell their kids that Sophia is wrong, that's what we believe. If these children follow the first JW rule of obeying their parents, then all of these worldly children will see Sophia as a monster, so she's going to be ostracized.
Then it's also extraordinarily unlikely that what this child says is going to change anything. So now Sophia has the added burden of thinking she couldn't save her classmate. And it's going to be her fault too, because she couldn't persuade this family to change. And yeah, that's a terrible thing to put on anyone, let alone a kid.
Alright, that covered 3 episodes of Caleb and Sophia. There are 42 more remaining, so they've been showing this to children and not just Jehovah's Witness children, but children of all races, religions, creeds, and ethnicities at doors for the last 10 years.
Well, can we talk about just a minute how typical of emotional abuse this is?
So you think the Become Jehovah's Friends series, we Dark Lords of the Apostasy, call them the Caleb and Sophia videos, but the real name is Become Jehovah's Friend. But the theory is if you watch and do everything in the videos, Jehovah will be your friend forever. But how is this typical of emotional abuse?
Because in these videos, they're taking, again maybe with the exception of the final one, definitely the first two, they're taking something reasonable to expect, like not tracking footprints through the clean floor, cleaning up your marbles, your new toys, treating your sibling with respect. These all on the face of reasonable expectations, and enough truth in them to keep somebody mired in self-doubt. And always that much farther away from perfection and being able to be accounted among Jehovah's Friends. If it's something ridiculous like an outright lie, it's easily disproved, they wouldn't use it. But because you can't get a hold of someone's mind that way, unless they've already been heavily brainwashed.
So basically they're trying to sneak in the back, trying to make it as innocuous as physically possible.
Yes, and what happens is you keep somebody intensely inward-focused. Like, they're always wrong, they're not making enough progress, and they're making too many mistakes. Then you can never achieve whatever the nebulous goal is. And it's really effective way to keep people distracted from, is this valid? It keeps them distracted to the point where they don't question their own religion. They don't question the expectations.
Wow, you got through something that took me 20 years to figure out in 20 minutes.
Yeah, 'cause they got you as a youngling. They got you when you were little, and used enough reason and enough truth to get in there.
So basically they're preying on a child's dependency on the adults around them.
Absolutely.
The need to believe these adults and to trust them, and if they're imparting this, the child needs to believe and trust the adults close to them just for survival. Because even kids at Caleb and Sophia's theoretical ages, who, I think Caleb is something like 7 or 8, Sophia might be 10 or 11, and that's their target demographic really. Elementary school age, ideally. But since this is their only children's program, it's required watching from 18 days old to 18 years old.
How long have they been airing?
About 10 or 11 years now.
Oh, so you weren't a kid when these came out.
No, I was at the end of my tenure as a ministerial servant, when I made my apostate sacrifice, as it were.
What's that?
That's when I chose college over Bethel. There's a ceremony in Star Wars lore called a Sith sacrifice. It's when a Sith embraces the dark side. For Palpatine, he kills his family. For Count Dooku, he killed his friend Sifo-Dyas. For Darth Vader, he let Mace Windu die when he could have saved him. It's when you release an attachment in exchange for power or whatever. So I picked college and sacrificed Bethel.
For which we are grateful, because Commander Fives is quite worldly.
You are indeed, Commander. It has served us well on the battlefront. So, any other final thoughts before we jump to hyperspace?
No, just, don't do this shit to your kids. Don't be a homophobe.
Very good. Well then, XJW agents, if you have any thoughts about the Caleb and Sophia series, or Jehovah's Witness children's programming in general, we'd love to hear them in the comments down below. Or, if you'd like us to watch any other JW children's material, please suggest those in the comments section as well. Also, if you enjoyed today's review, I'd appreciate a like, and it would be an honor if you would join us as a subscriber if you value future videos. Remember, XJW agents, the elders may be watching you, but Darth Magog is watching the Watchtower.
Thank you.